Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Brian. Today we're talking about creating a healthy environment for weight loss. This video is designed to help you get healthy and feel better and show up better in every aspect of your life because I want people to feel alive. That being said, a couple things here. You can hit the like button, hit subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and I'm here to help you unravel some of the things that have worked against us in creating that healthy weight loss environment. And number two, come up with 3 things here that are affecting every single one of us every single day as we walk through life. Finally, we're going to come up with 2 key steps and a solution. That's what we're going to do in this next few minutes of this video, and I'll be right with you. First of all, let's go ahead and be honest. We've all dealt with some frustration points, and these frustration points have maybe put us on a week, a month, a year-long journey of creating a healthy environment for weight loss. So let's just acknowledge that these things exist because, and you're not in this alone, there really is something much bigger. So we are here together solving these problems. While some of your solutions will be dependent upon you and your personal situation, the fact of the matter is this weight loss thing is really something that a lot of people deal with. There's more and more people dealing with it all the time. So why are these things happening? Good question. Can I add first that we are playing against a stacked deck? Practically everything out there is telling us to consume. That is part of what we're being sold in the western part of the world. That's part of our culture. Consume, you need more, you deserve this. But the fact is, there has never been a time in history where there have been so many high-calorie, unhealthy foods available right at our fingertips. And most of all, the fact is, everything in our society is encouraging you to make the wrong decision. This is something that's really worth taking a closer look at. Encouraging us to make the wrong decision in of itself is a problem, but look at the amount of information that's hitting us. In these years that we're living right now, we have 24-hour access to screens, messages, as information encouraging us to consume. And remember that information overload does impact us and it wears us down, particularly if you take a look at some of the information that's out there. If we wanted to try to get healthy to begin with, think about what's going on. We are getting sold other things here. We're being sold by this whole weight loss industry. And if I could share this with you at least for a moment in passing, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that doesn't necessarily address the root problems of the things that we deal with. They aren't talking about our habits. They're not necessarily talking about some of the other emotional eating that goes out there. Instead, they're trying to sell you a solution. And so just be mindful, and maybe you've been caught up in that before like I have. It's really part of the reason I thought it was really important for me to go ahead and make these videos that help you really address the real causes of these problems and give you real takeaways so we can create a healthy environment for weight loss. So let's talk about one tool that everybody needs to use today. If there's a tool that I could give you today that's really going to make a difference, try your phone. You guessed it, use your phone. Everybody now has a phone. And the fact is, this phone is going to have a place there where you can take notes. This is the key because you'll be able to capture 2 or 3 moments throughout the course of the day where you're making a good decision and you feel good about that environment you're creating for yourself. Or, likewise, you are finding that moment where you made a bad decision with creating your healthy environment. I can't emphasize enough taking a moment to capture those moments and making it as easy as possible. There's no easier place than right there on your phone. Just call it notes, weight loss, and the 2 or 3 moments of making good decisions or bad decisions. Now, if you want to take your game to a completely different level, you can go ahead and journal. As a matter of fact, I found an article on Healthline really talking about the journaling process. And the journaling process would happen maybe in the evening or maybe in the morning, depending on what works best for you. It could be a notebook, it could be a hardbacked book, but what it really is doing is allowing you 3 to 5 minutes to reflect on the decision making that was made throughout the course of the day. If I could ask you to break things down to a time, a place, who you were with, and what decision you made, was it a good decision or a bad decision? This is important. Maybe more importantly, you can break it down to a 3-step process of what excited you, what you learned, and what frustrated you throughout the course of the day. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, capturing those moments, because that really is part of the solution. So let's talk about problem solving and reprogramming the way we think and the way we act. It is a step-by-step process. So let's talk about the first thing that affects everybody, and we're talking about some of the environments that are out there that are really impacting the way we think, the way we act, and maybe most importantly, building in those behaviors that have really worked against us. What can we do? We can recognize what's going on. So when we're talking about our environment, we're talking about people, we're talking about places, and we're talking about some of the decision making we do when we're around these people and in these places. Quite often, you'll be able to find something very simple that you didn't even realize you were doing. That's part of this tracking system. And so when we're paying close attention to that environment, we know that we're now playing detective and trying to solve our own problem. Because let's face it, we are not a one-size-fits-all type solution. There's going to be things that are happening every single day to you. And now you're becoming more aware of what those things are and how they're impacting your attitude, your behavior, and your emotional mindset. Talking about emotions, let's take a look at the next thing here that's going to help us reprogram the way we think about creating that healthy environment. Emotional eating, stress eating, you've heard of it. And point number 2 here is really about those factors. Think about it for a moment. When you feel stressed, when you feel anxiety, and listen, there's a ton of both of those things in our world right here, right now. But the question is, how do they impact you? People have different solutions when they feel anxious, when they feel emotional stress. Some people will drink, some people will take medication, some people will make bad decisions. One of the easiest decisions we can make is emotional eating. Yes, we're looking to stress eat, and we're looking for quick calories. Oftentimes those quick calories are unhealthy calories. And finally, those unhealthy calories really do add a situation where we're consuming too much too quick, and we're oftentimes doing this mindlessly. If you've been there before, I can relate. But just capturing that moment and being aware of what you feel, how you feel, is of critical importance. That is something that's worth capturing on your phone or in your journal, because building that awareness is part of the solution when we're trying to create an environment that really does build healthy weight loss. Let's take a look at the third issue. What's of critical importance is becoming a known of the unknown factors that are out there, because there are many psychological hidden triggers here that cause us to really go down the wrong decision path when it comes to our diet choices. These things could be there from the people you're around from your youth. Translation, they could be an old established habit loop that's been there for many, many years. So become aware of that. Maybe it's something else you don't even realize, because there's a certain type of cake that tastes good at a certain time because this is what you did when you were in that environment. So building this awareness is critically important. And so these 3 issues, environment, emotional eating, and some of the psychological or hidden factors, are really things to become more aware of when we're trying to build that powerful and successful environment. Now, let's talk about 2 quick solutions, because I know this is going to really help you take your game and point you in the right direction. My solutions that I try to offer up are really super simple. And so let's talk about the concept of friction. Friction means making things either smooth or difficult. And we've celebrated this concept from the beginning of physics all the way back in history. But now let's talk about creating friction in bad decisions. Yes, folks, you talked about it. I'm going to give you an example about how creating friction can really help you out. One of my clients deals with Donut Friday at their workplace. They have cookie trays and donut day on Fridays. And they realized that if they were to start their day off by walking in and socializing, because they love these people, and sitting down and celebrating time together with donuts, or many times a couple of donuts, maybe even cookies, we know that you're starting off the day really not in the place you want to be. That environment, if you're trying to lose weight, is dangerous. So the fact is, a couple of other opportunities arose when we rethought that moment about how to add more friction there. Step number one was going ahead and drinking coffee as opposed to having one of those donuts or cookies, or a piece of fruit in lieu of, as a replacement of what was being offered up there. That was solution number one. Solution number two to add more friction is not go at all. Find something else to do more productive during that time. Catch up with the people, because you do love those people relationships, but you really don't want to join them if this is part of the process of bad decision, because their goals really aren't going to be your goals. And it's something you must be mindful of, because that environment really can be detrimental to the success of creating a healthy weight loss environment. Let's talk about one thing we can do right here, right now, today, to take our game to the next level, creating less friction for a healthy environment. So we're hit every single day with all types of information. We're offered up pop, we're offered up juices, and the juices are actually sold to us as a healthy decision. The pop is something that you really deserve because you've had a rough day. The fact is, both of those drink choices are super loaded with carbohydrates, super loaded with sugars, and they can really set you in a bad trajectory if you're really trying to create that healthy environment for weight loss. Instead, consider adding less friction to a good decision. How about a gallon jug filled with water sitting in the refrigerator? You can have one at home, you can have one at work, you can have one that you carry with you no matter where you are. But the fact is, you're making a conscientious decision to replace a bad habit with a good one, a good drink choice with a poor drink choice. So stick around here. I've got a couple of really important things to give you here that are going to help close up the rest of this video. Remember, what we're doing here is taking a look at some very simple steps here. We've looked at the tools to help you realize and recognize what's going on, why you're doing what you're doing, and maybe more importantly, we're talking about solutions, real meaningful solutions that deliver results. So my name is Brian, and I do help people get healthy by developing good habits that help them realize what they're doing wrong and establish what they're doing right. If I can go ahead and offer up anybody who needs a little bit more direction in the show notes, there'll be a free giveaway here that'll help you move yourself in the right direction, because I want everyone here to get healthy, feel alive. My name is Brian, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you very much.